Another important idea inserted to the preamble of India's constitution, that is secular or secularism, and it was inserted to the preamble under the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1976. So, to exactly define what secular means, we have to go to our ancient texts such as the four Vedas and 108 Upanishads or Bhagavad Gita, which preached about universal religion, compassion, love, and affection, and religion as to perform one's duty perfectly. So, this was the preachings of universal religion that we found in the Vedas, Upanishads, and Bhagavad Gita. So also, Lord Buddha, Mahavir Jain also preached about universal compassion, love, affection, etc. So also, during the Mughal rule, Emperor Akbar adopted a secular form of religion. So, he also abolished the religious tax, which was called jizya, during his rule, and he showed respect to all other religions. Even he married the Hindu princess and allowed Hindu temples inside his palace. So, this was how the secular ideas were found in our ancient and medieval period, and that was carried out till the modern period. And in world we found certain theocratic states which are completely based on a single religion, such as among the Islamic nations, and those were in the Arab countries, and they were completely based on a certain particular religion, and that is Islam. And even our neighbor Nepal was a Hindu state before 2008, only after the foundation of a communist government in Nepal under Prachanda, Nepal becomes a secular state. And now in modern times, we found almost many countries in the world are secular states such as United States of America, United Kingdom, and all other countries in Europe and also in South America and even in North America. And in spite of that, we found certain issues relating to religion become the main controversy, and it led to mass killing, religious exploitation, torture among the communities such as Jews were tortured and killed in Europe by the Christian nations, and also at present the very conflict and contradiction between the Jews and the Palestinians is still continuing as between Israel and Hamas in Palestine. So also we found in the history of Europe the very war and conflict among the Roman Catholics, the Protestants and Baptists, in between England, France, Spain, and Italy, and also at present we found differences even among the Islamic groups such as among the Sunnis and Shias on the basis of religion, as we found the very conflicting of religious ideologies, and in between the Iraq Sunnis and the Iran Shias. So the very controversy on the basis of religion is still continuing in the world in different forms among different religious communities and groups, and the very controversy regarding the communal feelings were introduced by the Britishers under the Indian Council Act 1909 by the British Parliament by introducing separate representation to Muslims in federal and provincial legislatures. So also the very communal awards were introduced under Government of India Act 1935 as giving communal representation not only to the Muslims but also to the Sikhs, the Anglo Indians, the Christians, the Parsis. So, this communal representation later on made communal feelings among the minorities and majority community in India that exactly between the Hindu majority and the Muslim minority. And it took in the form of Islamic jihadists or fundamentalists, and in opposition to Islamic jihadists or fundamentalists, a new group of Hindu nationalists gave rise, such as the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, RSS, Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangha, Ram Sena, Shiv Sena, etc. Even Bajrang Dal. So this is how the very fabric of secularism as it was developed during the ancient period and even during the medieval period by Emperor Akbar was shattered and demolished by the very communal feelings which were spreaded by the Islamic jihadists and the Hindu nationalists. But when the Constitution of India was adopted in 1949 and came into effect in 1950, it declared that there is no state religion, neither the government of India or the Union of India has no state patronage of any particular religion in India. And to substantiate this, we found the very basic provisions of the Constitution under Article 14, Article 15, and Article 16, which provided there would be equality before law and equal protection of law. There would be no discrimination on the grounds of religion. And also Article 19, which provides the very freedom of speech and expression and the freedom to religious faith and beliefs also. Article 21 of the Constitution, which provides right to life and liberty, it also indirectly emphasizes on religious freedom. And exclusively Article 25 to Article 28 of the Constitution elaborately provided all the fundamentals right relating to the freedom of professing and propagating any one's religion without any state interference. So, under Article 29 and 30, all religious minorities groups are provided the fundamental right to establish and to run their own educational institutions. Also, Article 44 provided under directive principle of state policy as a direction to the Union to carry out the very foundation to establish uniform civil code in India. And Article 48 of the Constitution under directive principle of state policy provided that the Union must ensure to stop cow slaughter. And as we will go to Article 325, which relates to universal adult service, and under that there would be no discrimination on the basis of religion regarding enrollment of any person on the ground of eligibility to becomes a voter. So, these are the constitutional provisions relates to the very foundation of secularism in India. So, also the union government established minorities commission to look out the very socio-economical problems of the minorities, and the very minority community in India is the Muslims and the Christians or the Parsis or the Jews. And also some states they even carried out reservation of minorities. and such provision is not found under the Constitution, as the very Constitution denied reservation on the basis of religion. So, our apex court, Supreme Court, invalidated and declared unconstitutional the very reservation of minorities as it was enacted by the Andhra Pradesh State Legislative Assembly. And also, there are certain union governments activities which raised questions on the very foundation of secular state in India, such as the state patronage of Hajj pilgrimage to the Indian Muslim community, and so also state sponsorship and state patronage to the Hindus on their religious Kailash Manasarovar Jatra and also an Amarnath Jatra. So this also raised the very question on the very foundation of India's secular spirit. Even the very aid to Muslim work boards, they raised the very question how far India is secular, and if India has no state religion, and if it neither have state patronage of any religion, then why the Union Government of India provides sponsorship and patronage on horse pilgrimage or Kailash Manasarovar Jatra and Amarnath Jatra, or aid to Muslim work boards. And all these are still remain to be answered by the Union. And in regards to the secular ideals as it was inserted under 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976, would like to discuss two important leading cases, and those two important leading cases were decided by our apex court or Supreme Court. So the first important leading case, that is S.R. Bhumai versus Union of India in 1994, decided by the Supreme Court, and in its very observation, their Lordship of Supreme Court expressed that secularism, whatever it may mean, is a basic feature of the Constitution, as it was declared in the leading case S.R. Bhumai versus Union of India in 1994 by the apex court. And another most important leading case relating to the very spirit of secularism in India is the leading case Bal Patil versus Union of India in 2005. The case was decided by our apex court or the Supreme Court, and regarding the very observation made by their lordship in this leading case in 2005, that the concept of secularism, to put it in a nutshell, is that the state will have no religion. So, this is all that we found regarding the very ideal of secular, which was inserted under 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976, and the very working of secularism at present in the context of the world soul show, in the context of India, that we have analyzed in this video regarding the very ideal of secular in our preamble.